it's regarding patient counseling, and always time is a factor, and it's always a challenge, or as a barrier for effective communication. None of us have time to actually talk, and that's the routine thing we hear in our healthcare systems. And counseling patients, for participating in their plan of care or telling them to follow up, it warrants competent skills by our healthcare professionals. So is there any structure that our healthcare professionals can use during counseling patients? Dr. Indu?
Very right, Dr. Lulu. As one of our earlier speaker had mentioned about this scripted, communication. So if you are aware of the structure, if you are aware of the content, probably then it becomes easy for you to, navigate and hold the conversation with the patient. So in a very simple way, I will share the structure of patient counseling. So we can have the counseling in 4 stages. Stage 1 is where you build the rapport with the patient and open the dialogue. Second is when you explore patient's concerns. Third is when you address those concerns and explain them or reply them. And then next is negotiating treatment. Like Dr. Mohan was just now saying, that it is not that we just say them this has to be done, but now we need to negotiate with the patient and explain them this is what are the options available, and this is what is suitable to the patient. And then the final stage is closing the counseling session. So in the first session, in the rapport building session, usually we get to see that we say that we are short of time, but trust me, if your rapport building is done well, automatically the patient will align with you. It's not only just the patient with whom you have to build the rapport, but it is also with the attendant also with whom you should try to build rapport. And once you are able to do it, then the task becomes easy, and the patient slowly aligns with you and is more open to communicating with you. And usually in counseling, we have a practice of, talking a lot. Instead, I think we have to focus on listening more and talking less. So encourage the patient to speak by asking open-ended questions. So usually we have an practice of asking the questions which are just yes and no answer. But I think in counseling, we need to be more like, where we are asking open-ended question and we allow the patient to speak and give answer. So that will give you more idea about what patient wants to address. In this stage 2, when it is exploring patient's concerns, the idea is to understand what does patient want to understand, or what are patient's concerns. So there's an acronym called ICEEE. ICEEE stands for I stands for idea. So what is patient's idea about the illness? C stands for concern. So what is patient's concern? And then EEE stands for patient's experience, patient's emotions, and patient's expectation. So when you try to explore these things, you get an idea of what are patient's concerns. And then you start explaining or addressing those concerns. So rather than straight away starting to explain, like we are quite used to that by just explaining to the patient, it's always a good idea to ask, what does the patient want to know? Or what are patients' concern? In your discussion, you will come across a lot of patients' concern. It could be about for cost. Maybe the treatment cost is too much for the patient to handle, or the medicines are expensive, or maybe the admission cost is too much for the patient to handle, or it could be distance as a problem. The patient has to travel a huge distance to visit the hospital. So follow-up can be a problem. Lack of support at home. So there is nobody to bring the patient to the hospital. That could also be a reason for not coming regularly or adhering to the follow-up regime. Then there can also be fear for negative outcome. All these concerns need to be heard attentively, and they should not be refuted. For example, sometimes patient would have concerns which may be very, very minor. We don't have to refute those concerns, but address them one by one, so that slowly the patient aligns with us, and that helps us in finally coming to a point where we negotiate the treatment. So the stage 4 is when you have understood the concerns, you have addressed those concerns, and now you discuss all the options available for the treatment to the patient. For the condition. So when you are discussing the options, it's important to explain the advantages and disadvantages of each option. So we don't have to be pushy about any one treatment that we prefer or that we think that is fit for the patient. So it's always good to discuss and then allow the patient to ask questions around it and then explain what would really work. And by the time, if you have been able to, really counsel the patient in good manner and have good rapport with the patient, trust me, patient is going to ask you to kindly help in choosing the treatment option. So that would become a very good, helpful way to get the patient's consent on it. So when you finally decide about any treatment, it's good to explore what challenges the patient sees in treatment adherence or follow. I think this is a very common problem. Patients either do not, seek treatment, or they do not adhere to the regimen, or they do not come for follow. So if you are able to explore those challenges and then address them one by one and work together to find solution to those obstacles, I think that would really help them in, getting clarity on why it is important to come for follow-up, or why it is important to stick to the regime. So encourage them to ask questions. That's something that we are not very used to, but I think it's now becoming a patient-centered communication, patient-centered care. So the patient is in the center stage. So we have to allow the patient to ask questions, and then we need to clarify them, explain them. And it's more like a teamwork where we work in hand with the patient. And the final step in the counseling will be closing the counseling session, which has to be done in a very systematic manner, where we actually check whether the patient has really understood. Does the patient have any more questions? So I think closing the session should be done by checking if the patient has any more questions to ask. Then there's a technique called teach back. So this technique is a wonderful way to summarize and confirm whether the patient has understood what we have explained to the patient. So a good way is asking the patient, if you have understood what I have explained you, can you explain me in your words what exactly we discussed? So you get an idea whether the patient has really understood whatever you explained. And then if you are able to hand over a small leaflet or some information leaflet to the patient, that will really supplement your discussion. And that will be more like, patient can go home and discuss about whatever you have shared with them. So if you do patient counseling in this manner, this will save you a lot of time. If you have this structure in your mind, so you'll make sure that if you build rapport with the patient, that's going to help you in actually get aligning the patient with you. Then if you explore patient's concern, definitely patient is going to feel happy and satisfied that my concerns have been explored and they have been addressed, and they have answers to it, or they have been explained to me. And when you negotiate treatment, they are going to align with you because they have been given the option to choose. So they feel empowered that they have been involved in decision making. And then finally, when you close the counseling session, they feel that yes, they have done this in partnership, and chances are that they are going to align with you and stay with you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Indu. You brought about so many points of having a structure for the clinical interview. You've brought in points of addressing their concerns, and where active listening is so important. We always forget that we have to listen and not just talk. And also the teach back component of, making sure and adding it on with a written or a communication to make it more clear that, both of us, the doctor or the nurse and the patient and the patient family is on the same page. So thank you so much, Dr. Indu.